I wish that people understood what melatonin really is and understood how to utilize it. Okay. So lots of people take melatonin, right? Melatonin is a hormone. It is not an herb. It is not a mineral. It is not a vitamin. It is a hormone. Hormones affect your entire body in very unique ways. So most people don't know this. Melatonin is by prescription only everywhere but the United States.
Come on, really?
Everywhere but the United States. Okay. That's number one.
I had no idea.
Number two, at high dosages, melatonin is a contraceptive. Yes, it is birth control. Correct. Now, how many pediatricians are walking around telling parents, hey, your kid's not sleeping, give them some melatonin and have them fall asleep? Number one, I think it's 96% of children have got 4 times the amount of melatonin that they really need. So giving them more melatonin is not a good idea, number one. Number two, you just taught your kid they need a pill to sleep. That's a really stupid freaking idea, right? So I'm not a fan. Anybody under the age of 18 should not take melatonin, full stop, unless you have a child on the spectrum. There is data to show that children who are on the autism spectrum actually require melatonin at fairly decent dosages, like 5 to 7 milligrams.
Require, not just might be advised to supplement with, but actually require.
I would say possibly require. I mean, if your child doesn't have a sleep problem, then I wouldn't institute melatonin. But if you've got a child on the spectrum that is having a sleep problem, melatonin is definitely a great place to start. But that is the only group of children where I would say that it's a good idea. Here's the crazy thing that almost nobody knows. Melatonin changes the effectiveness of birth control.
Well, yeah, if it's a contraceptive like you're talking about, yeah.
Right. So every woman who's out there on birth control who's currently taking melatonin, your birth control is far less effective. Wake up.
How many people... I've never heard of this. Why don't people talk about this?
I've got more data. Did you know that melatonin directly affects SSRIs, which are antidepressants? Zoloft, Paxil, Effexor, every single antidepressant on the marketplace is affected by melatonin. That's problematic. Did you know that diabetes medication and high blood pressure medication are all affected by melatonin? There is an interaction effect. So people just willy-nilly walk into the health food store, the Whole Foods, the Lazy Acres, the Erewhon, whatever, and they buy this melatonin off the shelf, which, by the way, is in an overdosage format. The correct dose is somewhere between 0.5 and 1.5 milligrams. It's almost impossible to find. You go into a store and there's 3 milligrams, 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams. So I investigated that to figure out why. So it turns out that there was a guy out of MIT named Dr. Wortman who discovered the exact dose that you need of melatonin to get plasma concentration levels to the point where it's effective. And then he patented the dose.
Oh my God.
And so every company...
This is the dose that's in the products.
This is the dose that it should be, which is between 0.5 and 1.5 milligrams. Okay. And so every other group that decided to sell melatonin, we're going to have to pay him for his patent. So they just said, screw it, we'll just double the dose. Who cares what it does to people? And that's why we have melatonin at massively high dosages out there. Now, a study was done out of Canada. This was going back 8-10 years ago, where they pulled 30 different melatonin brands off the shelf. And guess what? None of them had the amount on the bottle that was in it. Half of them were extremely high and half of them were extremely low. So people... buyer beware. Like, you're asking me what's one of the bigger problems in sleep? I would argue that there's a gazillion people out there that are taking melatonin that A, are not taking it the right way, B, not taking the right dose, and C, it's not going to be effective for them.
Where to even begin with that? One, I knew that melatonin was a hormone. I think the vast majority of people don't not.
They have no idea.
If I can go to CVS, over the counter, buy it, especially in a gummy.
It must be safe.
It's a safe, fun little vitamin supplement thing. So one, I think the awareness that melatonin is in fact a hormone. And the second,
big deal.
Continuously seconds that you start messing around with exogenous hormones, it has massive cascading effects, majority speaking, to what your body endogenously is going to create or stop creating, especially when it comes to melatonin.
It's just like testosterone. There's a reason that you don't go to the CVS and walk into the testosterone aisle and pull some and take it home.
LA people would love that if you could.
All the gym bros out there would be into it.
But especially, I think the other thing to point out about hormones, melatonin, is that once you start messing with one,
it
correct me if
messes
I'm wrong,
with
it messes
all
with
the
all of
others.
them. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And you've also, once again, told yourself that you need a pill to sleep. Okay. I have been treating patients for 26 years. Are there people that need a pill to sleep? You bet. There are some people that need a pill to sleep. If you're a paranoid schizophrenic, you get your Ambien. No questions asked. Okay. If you're a bipolar, you can get your sleeping pills. No problem. There are certain situations where it makes perfect sense. And by the way, there are even situations where melatonin makes sense. Jet lag. Absolutely, I use melatonin for jet lag. Shift work, of course we use it for there. There's even people who have melatonin deficiencies. Now, here's what's interesting is as we get older, so I'm 57 years old, right around 50, 55, that's when we start to see melatonin production decline.
Is that male and female?
Male and female, right? And so I'm in the range where I can go get myself tested and see if I have a melatonin deficiency. It may make sense for me to personally be taking melatonin at my age. So there's really three big situations where I would say melatonin makes perfect sense, and any sleep doctor you brought through this door would say the same thing. The problem comes is when people start going outside of these parameters and using it basically as a placebo, right? Because that's really what's happening. And by the way, placebos are great. Right? Like placebos
there
work
is the placebo effect.
30% of the time placebos work. Like if I could get everybody to work 30% of the time, I'd be fantastic.
But so that also makes me ask, so for someone like, in the age range and you're talking about specifically with, diagnosed mental health disorders, we're talking this is really the only appropriate time to consider melatonin?
Well, I mean, again, depending upon what their sleep issues are. And it doesn't have to be mental health issues. Like, let's say they've got dementia. Let's say they've got Parkinson's. Like, there's a whole host of different reasons why people might have varied melatonin. But at that age, right, where it starts to become deficient, what I'm suggesting is, yes, you can absolutely help that deficiency and then see how the body reacts.
Okay, yeah.
And by the way, that's how I do all my supplements. So people come to me all the time like, Michael, what's the best supplement for sleep? Like, I just want to optimize my sleep. What's the one thing I should take, right? So number one, that's the dumbest question on earth. And I get it every single day.
All right, so I'm just going to delete that
question from your notes, right? So here's my theory, and I think every physician out there would agree with me on this one. Do blood work first. Let's see where your deficiencies are. If you're deficient in vitamin D, magnesium, iron, or melatonin, let's fix that first. Once we get this unit working in terms of deficiencies, it may sleep just fine. I can assure you don't have a deficiency in ashwagandha. Okay? I can assure you, right? So but that's what people think, right? They're like, oh, screw it. I'll just take an ashwagandha melatonin gummy and everything's great. No, you idiot. All you're doing is you're making your situation potentially worse.
But it doesn't, as someone who loves ashwagandha and uses it,
I'm not saying anything against ashwagandha.
It has a great calming effect.
It does have a great calming effect.
Which can then help calm you down, get you to a place where you can go to sleep.
Right.
But we're not messing with hormones here.
But if you had a magnesium deficiency and a vitamin D deficiency, and you added ashwagandha on top of that, it doesn't change your vitamin D deficiency and your magnesium deficiency, which, by the way, affects a whole shitload of other things that are going on in your body besides sleep.